Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Today, there's another guest coming and joining with us. He's Dritan Kodra. He will be also joining us from Greece, and we will talk with him like we did in our last episode. He's an astronomer, and we can get to know him more better once he joins us. Hello.
Hello, Nayeef.
Hello, good evening for you, maybe, or good afternoon.
Uh, it's still afternoon. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. here.
Mm-hmm.
A
Okay.
little over 5 p.m. So, yes.
All right. So,
What about you? What time
it's,
is it there?
it's almost night. Yeah, I guess it's night. It's 8 or evening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
All right. So, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing good. A little busy lately, but that's expected. We need to finish some projects before summertime. So, well, before summer vacations, let me put it this way, because summer is already here, but before we go off for vacation. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. So, I have met you before, and I know you are an astronomer. So, maybe you can tell something about yourself and um, why you have picked the astronomy thing and how you get interested to it and what inspired you.
Right. Oh, so for me, it started at a very early age. I was about 10 years old, if I remember correctly. And it started from a teacher of mine at school. One day in my geography class, if I recall, it was to us Earth as a whole, when we were discussing about different countries and continents and everything. And then she started talking about how Earth was not the only planet of the solar system. And she started talking to us about the solar system. And then she started talking to us about the whole galaxy. And as soon as during that class, I couldn't close my mouth because I was so astonished. I just had never heard of all that stuff before. And it was so amazing to me. So that's when I knew that was it. I was hooked. That's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And from then on, basically all my choices were so that I could become an astronomer at this point, and I guess I managed to do that in my life. Um, so yeah, I find everything about the universe to be very interesting to me, and I really want to know as much as possible about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it started at a really early age. Mm, okay.
Right. Yes, it did. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it did at a very early age, and I I was one of the few people, from what I can tell, that really knew what they wanted to do from very young. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
intentions are indeed really powerful. If you know what you want to do, you can surely achieve it. All right, so
that's definitely true. Yes.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, um, what is the most interesting thing so far that you have researched?
Excuse me. Yeah, my connection must not be very good, but I kind of lost you there. Can you repeat the question?
Hmm? Sure. So, what is the most interesting thing that you've so far researched?
Well, the most interesting thing that I have personally researched, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So um, basically, what I was doing my PhD is was I found it to be very interesting because what we were doing was to estimate the distances of very, very distant objects, such as galaxies. And the way that you do that is by measuring the light that comes from those objects. And you analyze that light with very high precision and using some very sophisticated techniques of statistical science and uh, in general computers as well. In the end, you can determine, well, you cannot determine with a- very high accuracy, but you have a pretty good result in the end about the probabilities of distances of very distant objects such as galaxies. And that I found to be very amazing actually, how you can analyze the very faint light that comes from such distant objects to such, even though it's not such a great accuracy, it's still pretty good when you consider the distance of those objects from us and how faint the light that comes from them is. So yeah, I find that to be very interesting and one of the most interesting things that I've worked on, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
So
the whole
yeah.
universe is interesting, and in fact, our lives are
Oh
interesting.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
That is cool.
My next question is, where have you studied, and um, in which places in the world you have went, in order to research or to study for education?
So actually, I have not traveled as much as other fellow researchers, to be honest, because I was in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, in the United States. It's a relatively small city, but it's a city of students. Yeah, it used to be the city of steel in the past, and it was very polluted because of the factories and everything. So they, at some point, they decided they didn't want to continue to do that anymore because of the pollution. So they have two very famous universities there: the University of Pittsburgh, where I did my PhD, and Carnegie Mellon University, which is right next to it. Basically, it's one after the other. So basically, most of my time I was there, and then apart from that, I was here in Greece in Thessaloniki, where I did my undergraduate studies with your teacher Kiki during undergrad, and then I continue with a master's degree here in computational physics. So basically, solve physics problems with computers. Um, and then after that, I left for my PhD, and now I came back here to continue at the same institution as well. While I was in the US, I traveled a little bit around in the US. I went to Canada as well, in Toronto for a conference. Um, I went to San Jose in California. I went to Baltimore in another conference, and a few more places that I don't really recall everything right now, to be honest, because it's been a while. But yeah, but compared to other researchers, I haven't traveled much, to be honest, because most researchers, they travel a lot. They go to various conferences, and in my opinion, you should do that because you have to be going to different conferences and meet different people so that you can listen to different perspectives regarding the studies that you are involved with. Um, because if you don't, then you might miss a chance to listen to something very interesting and something that could help you with your own research in the end. And that is a very good way to listen to new ideas, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, you're
But
right. No.
for me, actually, yes, it was not as easy to travel in the sense that because me and my now wife, we were not married at the point, but at that time, but we were together for many years before we got married. And any chance I got, I would travel back here to see each other. So that's why I didn't travel much in the US in order to visit many places as other fellow students of mine. Um, but yeah, I did travel a little bit though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and as you mentioned, that when you talk to more people, new people, you find something interesting, and you have a broad knowledge, and it's really important to communicate with people.
always, always.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You
Yeah.
never know what different perspective you're going to hear from someone else
Mm-hmm.
regarding the matter that you might think you're an expert on, but still you might have never thought about it in the way that someone on another person is thinking about it. So that is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The sharing of ideas is the most important thing, in my opinion, in academia and in general in universities and schools. Um, so yeah, that I hope we will always be free to share ideas with one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sharing is,
Because
is
if
is
anything has to survive in our societies, it would have to be the sharing of our ideas freely, without having to worry about the repercussions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah. Exactly. You're right. Sharing is one of the most important and valuable thing that humans can do.
exactly. Yes.
Okay. So
We
let's.
have to stop being selfish and we have to think about sharing our ideas, our opinions, our everything so that we can all move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Moving forward
Yes,
together.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's move on to the next question.
Right.
It's also a little bit about you. So, what is your basically daily routine?
Oh, well, my daily routine for a while now has been working on my computer, basically. Um, it's true that, especially in the field of astronomy, but in most sciences, to be honest, um, the experiments are done almost automatically. You don't really need to be anywhere. You can do it. You can do everything from a distance, basically, since we have the internet now. And all you have to do nowadays is just sit on a desk on your computer and do your work. And basically, that's what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, at least 10 years now. Looking at a screen and a computer and coding, basically. Don't get me wrong, though. I really enjoy what I do because while it might seem like it's a little bit boring to some people, staring at a screen all day. For me, it's interesting because you're not just staring at a blank screen. You're staring at a screen with full of very interesting information, such as either images of galaxies or measurements, or doing calculations about those galaxies and finding out how far that galaxy is. All that stuff is very interesting, and I gladly spend that time staring at a computer all day. So yeah, that's basically my routine. Coding, calculations, uh, looking at observations, and basically finding something very interesting in the results of those calculations. That is my daily routine, let's
Mhm.
say.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
nowadays we all are more into technologies and everything, and it's also good in many ways. Like it helps us to find some new interesting informations that humans maybe wouldn't able to know before long ago.
Exactly. And it's not that humans are not capable of knowing everything, it's just that humans are incapable of doing so many calculations so fast. We
Hmm.
could do
Exactly.
everything by hand, you know, but it would take us forever to finish. The computer can do millions of calculations in a second, whereas a human cannot possibly do that. Even the simplest of calculations, you cannot do a million calculations in a second. Even if you just do 1 + 1 a million times, it will take you a lot longer than that. So there's always uh, that thing that keeps us from moving forward much faster than we can while we use our computers. So it's a very necessary tool to do science.
Yeah, exactly. And it is also a platform through which lots people know about things more than they used to know when we were doing things by hands.
Exactly. Exactly. Information also travels a lot faster now, basically almost instantly. So you can inform your colleagues immediately if you find something interesting. You don't have to wait for months on end until they get your letter or whatever. So yeah, and you if you want to, you can keep up to date very easily nowadays, and that's good. That's very good in my opinion.
Yeah, it is again
Yes,
our choice that how we want to use it.
exactly. And you can use everything for good for a good purpose or for a bad purpose. So it's always up to us.
Hmm.
Something can be very useful or very dangerous. It depends on how you use it. But hopefully, well, in my opinion, most people are good in nature. So that's why we don't have chaos worldwide. Otherwise, yeah, we would live in a very different world right now.
Hmm.
But of course, there are some people that choose the not so good path, in my opinion. But fortunately, the majority of humanity has good intentions, and we use most of the things for good reasons,
Hmm.
for good purpose. But that's why, in my opinion, we need mechanisms to uh, protect us should someone want to do us harm, using the technology. So that is also very important.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I have some common questions that I ask to every guest. Is
All right. Yes.
do you lead your own time or do you let your time to lead you?
So actually, I'm very lucky with my work right now, with my job right now, because I can actually make my own hours. Especially given the situation now worldwide with the pandemic, I've been working from home as most people in similar positions as mine. Um, but in general, though, I would always make my own time, and I'm more of a night owl, as they say. So I would work more during the night. So during the day, I'm not a very early morning person. Let's put it this way. I don't wake up very early in the morning. I always had a hard time waking up early in the morning, but I stay up late at night, and when most people are asleep, I enjoy the quiet to do my own work and be very productive at that time. So in this occupation, I think it's very easy to do that. It's not a classical old-fashioned job that you have to be 9 to 5. You have to be in an office and you have to have the meetings at a specific time, or anything like that. So yeah, of course, we everybody has meetings certain days of the week at certain times. But sure, yeah, as long as I meet those as long as I make those meetings, apart from that, I can go to work any time of the day that I want. And of course, as long as I have the results that are required of me, obviously. But usually that's not a problem for me. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly same as me. I have the same habit, and I also love working at night. I fix the nighttime to work. I
Right.
feel I can be more productive at that time when there's silence and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hmm.
Because during the day there are so many things that come up. You know, you have to go to this office, you have to do this thing, you have to go to the supermarket, you have to do a lot of work, so you cannot really concentrate during that time. But at night, when everything is done and everybody's asleep, then you can really concentrate. But yeah, at least
Yeah.
that's how it works for me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So uh, the next question is how you handle, sometimes we have times that when you're not so feeling well or with tough times. So how do you handle those times?
When you're not doing well in terms of the work or in terms of
Anything,
the jo-
anything.
job you're, or everything, like psychologically that is, or you know, or
How
physically.
it's,
Um, it's not easy, to be honest, in my opinion. When you're not feeling very optimistic or very enthusiastic about what you're doing or how your life is going, it's not very easy to um, overcome it. But that's why, in my opinion, it's very important for a person to have friends and family that cares about them, because in times like that, they are going to be very, very useful for you to get the strength to overcome your problems. And you know, it's easy to know that you have somebody there, even if it's just to talk to them. It's very comforting, not easy. It's comforting to know that you have someone there to talk to, because then sometimes it might seem very like everything is against you and like you're the only one that is struggling. When you have people around you and people that care, that can tell you something that you don't see at the moment, then you might realize that you're not the only one. Most people go through what you're going through, most likely, and it's comforting to know that that's the case, and better days will come. That is the most important thing, that you have to try the best you can in order to overcome your difficulties, and then hope that better days will come as soon as possible. So, in my opinion, family and friends are very important in that case. Apart
Mhm.
from that, I would say, at least here in Greece, we have a very good weather in general. I don't know where you are, what the weather is like, but I'm assuming it's somewhere warm. So um, I, the weather also helps, in my opinion, and because sometimes if you can just even go for a walk, it might help you feel a little better when you come back and
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
things
Hmm.
again from scratch. You might have an idea while you're walking on how to solve your problem, or even realize while you're walking that things are not as bad as they seem from uh, from the first look that you had when you were thinking about all the stuff that is bothering you. So yeah, that
Exactly.
also
Yeah.
helps.
Nature definitely helps. And at the beginning, you mentioned about friends and someone to talk with. So again, it's about sharing things.
Yes, exactly. And if things are very serious, in my opinion, at least, of course, it's a personal choice for everyone. But if things are very serious, in the end, you should always seek professional help. If things are very hard and you don't seem to overcome your troubles, and why not seek some professional help, someone that can help you, guide you through all your troubles, and go to the other side and start seeing things a little more positively.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's also the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, so far, I haven't needed any professional help, but I'm definitely not against it. So if ever I need it, I will be more than glad to go to a professional. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's also really important. When things go really bad, we should.
Exactly.
Okay, so we are very close to the end. In the end,
Okay.
we play a little game, which might
Oh,
seem,
okay.
yeah, which might seem weird, but it's the game. So I will ask
Okay.
you to pick either this or that. Like if I say headphones or AirPods and you pick one, and
Oh, okay.
the answer, if it matches with me, then you get 1 point.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Okay.
if
Uh,
mhm.
yeah. Okay. Are your answers already? Oh, so yeah, you have your answers already. So okay, right.
Yeah, all right. So pizza or sushi?
What was the first option? I didn't hear.
Pizza or sushi?
Ah, pizza.
Mm. Pencil or pen?
uh, Tough question. Pencil, most likely. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sports or music?
Music.
Silence or chaos?
Ah, definitely not chaos. No.
Technology or nature?
Can I say both, or do I have to pick one?
No, you have to pick one.
Uh, so I am a person of technology, so I will go for technology, but I understand that you cannot just have technology. That's my opinion. So yeah, I'll go with technology, I guess.
All right. And the last question, world or universe?
Oh, universe, definitely. Yeah,
All right,
right.
so your pretty much
Did
every
I?
answers got correct, but except one, that is technology. So I would prefer personally nature more than technology. That's
I
my,
see. Okay. Right. Right.
so, oh, you know me well.
It's just that the reason I didn't pick nature, because I also like nature actually. The reason I didn't pick it is because I didn't know what I would do if there was no technology.
Yeah,
That's the only
that's
reason.
okay. Mhm.
So yeah,
All right.
right.
Thank you very much for your wonderful time. I guess you
Of
liked it.
course, yes, yes, I did. It was really great actually. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it.
All right.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I see you again in my show.
Definitely.
All right.
Yes,
Have a nice day and a
definitely.
weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, guys. So the show, I mean, the interview ended really quick. The time went by really quick. So I will also have to leave today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.